I got an internship at Bad Boy, paying nothing.
$0.
With a Metro card, right? And I said I want it
Give me
immediately.
it.
Give me that. And I'm leaving my career to go intern
For free.
For free, right? And that was important to me because I was just like, no, this is like that one shot. You know, like Eminem said, you better lose yourself. You only get one chance to blow. Like, that's how I felt leaving the Navy and going to Bad Boy to work for free. And
crazy.
Yeah, I did. And I always say, especially to the kids now, working for free is not bad when you have so much value around you, because that's not free. It's not monetary, but the knowledge you get, the knowledge. A friend of mine told me, if you wanted to be disappointed, meet your heroes. And I had a number of mentors. And I met all of them and realized that I'm not like none of them.
Hey, listen, I'm coming. I'm coming right now. Come on in, y'all.
Truly honored and blessed to spend and invest time with these guests, but most importantly, spend time and invest time with you too. If you don't know who I am, I'm Rob De La Rosa, the bald-headed Dominican from the Bronx, and all you gotta do to help me help you is like, comment, subscribe.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of In the Living Room podcast, where we learn, laugh, and heal. And I want to tell you before we start, I'm like beyond grateful, like genuinely beyond grateful. One, for the support, but who I get to connect with. You know what I mean? Like, I think I don't express this enough when I start the pod is, I realized the other day how much therapeutic, like how much therapy this really is for me when I sit here. Just the anticipation, knowing that I'm going to get the time to speak to somebody. Like that alone, knowing that I'm going to have whatever time it is, one-on-one time, the anticipation before you get here. Truthfully, before she got here, because I got another rock star in the building, y'all.
Oh, no.
It's up now. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? It's levels. I grew as a person. I attract bigger people. Thank you. God good. But the anticipation. And as soon as I know we're going to start, I'm a kid. And before we started, she told me, I brought the light. It was cloudy out here. All right?
I brought it to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen. She's known, right? Publicist for one of the big known. Publicist for one of the biggest independent. If y'all know who it is, y'all know what it is. The My Expert Opinion show. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Chasity Cox is in the building. Let's clap it up for this lovely lady in the room. I want to say thank you. Before we get into who you are and what you do and all of the above, is thank you for doing what you do in the way you do it. All right? Because what we spoke on before the cameras were rolling, I looked at narrative like I needed to hear that, bro. I just needed to hear that. So for the audience, for my lovely people, or for the first time coming around looking at this saying, who the heck are these beautiful people? Because we look good. We matching.
Yeah, we're matching.
Stop playing.
That's crazy.
Who's Chasity?
Who is Chasity? Chasity is the daughter. Chasity is an aunt. Chasity is spiritual. Chasity is always growing. Chasity is always learning. Chasity is grateful and thankful at all times. Chasity is spiritual and loves God. That's who I am before anything. And spiritually, God made it possible for me to be a publicist.
With respect to you.
Yeah.
Right.
See, I'm learning.
There you go. Because that was beautiful. And I want you to keep
I'm
going.
learning.
That, right?
I hope y'all got that.
Yeah, we got it. Keep
I
going.
hope it wasn't far because I meant
remember,
it.
hug that bad boy. That's yours.
So God made it possible for me to be a publicist. I'm also a change maker. You know, I was a premature baby. I was 2 pounds 12 ounces. I wasn't supposed to be here as per the doctor. And my mom always drove that in my head. Like, you're 2 pounds 12 ounces. You wasn't supposed to be here, my baby. And I feel like growing up, it gave me a sense of responsibility that I have to do something great because I wasn't supposed to be here. So if I wasn't supposed to be here and I'm here, that's because I'm supposed to be here. I have to make a mark. And yeah, I feel like my life has been that. My life has been hitting marks. Not even intentionally, but that's just what my life is about. That's just my purpose, right? Until I made it intentional. At first, it wasn't intentional. At first, it was just being me, you know, like I was a hugger at a young age. I was always making like, you know, these love gestures of love to my family, to my friends. My mom always said I was so friendly. You know, she's like, it was scary how friendly you were. Not the average. Like, it was just like, you see a stranger, you want to hug them. Like,
that's fire.
Homeless person, you want to hug them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not that they stink. No, you're like, hey, you know? So I've always been a person who loves to embrace other people. So I knew that about myself at a young age because I was often like teased about it, or it was just like, you know, she's just all over the place kind of thing. So, you know, I knew I was different, and I also have this voice, right? I have this voice that some people love, that some people cannot stand, and have told me. And that happened because it's like one day I had a cold and it just never went away. That's how I described it. Like, as far as my voice, my voice changed. I got a cold, my voice changed, and it never went away.
How old were you when this happened?
It was puberty.
Copy.
Right.
Got you. I'm like, what?
It was puberty.
I'm following.
But no, I really did get a cold though. But it was in the midst of puberty.
Understood.
Because my voice was really soft growing up. And then one day I got this cold and I'm going through puberty. And I got this deep, raspy thing happening. And it never went away. Right? So, yeah, that's just a gist of the complexities of me, even from young to where I knew that something was different.
That is, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Narrative, you could be my like witness for this. I've asked a lot of people, who are they, right? And I didn't get nowhere near a detailed answer. That depth, like you've given, at all. And I have so much questions. So before I continue, let me know what her mic is. Like, is it covering her face? Are we good there? I got you. Hold on. I got
Okay,
you.
I like it here.
Look. Just right?
Oh, okay. See, this stuff is expensive. I don't want to break it.
You good. I just want to make sure I got you at your best. So here's what I love about what you said. For starters, I'm a daughter. That was the first identity or first piece of you that you let us know. Why is that? Why was that the first thing?
I love my family. I love my parents. I love my grandmother. I love them so much. The individuals that raised me are everything to me. So I say I'm a daughter first because now that I'm at an age where I can be of value to them, even though I was of value from the day I was born, to me as an individual, as a grown person, I can be of value to my parents and my grandmother and be by their side and give them advice and tell them how to eat and give them, to be that person for them. I take value in that. So that's why when I said, like, I'm a daughter, like, yeah, I'm a daughter. I'm a good daughter. You know what I mean? I make sure, like, my parents are cool. Like, my dad lives in Atlanta. He's pretty independent, but, I made sure he knows that I love him all the time. We talk. I send him things. We have great conversations. When I go to Atlanta to visit him, I'm like this with my dad. You know what I mean? He be like, all right, but I'm just like, because I feel like, that's how it's supposed to be. And my mom, we're super close. So, yeah, being a daughter and a granddaughter means a lot to me.
I love that. I love that. Because I know, this is one thing I said before we started, and I'll say it here. I'm proud of you. Met you today. But knowing some of your story, right, doing the homework, like, who is this young lady? Who is this woman that does so much or done so much and is doing so much? Let me know something about her. And that really stood out to me because I'm very family-oriented as well, right? But what do I have to know about your past to understand how you're able to do what you do today?
Okay, so I'm also a veteran. I left that out. I'm a Navy veteran. And I say that because consistency and discipline is what I've learned from the military.
Did you always want to do that? Like, what?
No, never did. It wasn't No, I never really wanted to join the military ever. No, that was not. It wasn't like, I'm dreaming to be all I can be. No, not at all.
So how'd you land there? How'd you get there?
My dad, I was a wild child in college, and just doing the things that kids do in their early adult years.
Right.
I graduated high school at 16 years old.
When's your birthday?
April 10th. So I was skipped twice.
Wow.
And I got lucky because honestly, when the year I graduated, I walked out on a Regents exam. Like, I was like, I'm not gonna, this shit too hard. I'm not doing it. And I got 2 years. I'm good. Like, I got some time.
That's crazy.
And the test got thrown out.
Really?
Yeah, that year. So I was able to graduate. Yeah.
A bug came back. I'm gonna act like I didn't see it.
Yeah, no, me too.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna roll my eyes.
Good. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
So what I wanted to expand on, because you said that's incredible that you got skipped 2 years. There's a lot about you. So the overachieving, the military, the Navy.
Right. Yeah. So really quickly. So yeah, I got skipped. I was too young to be away at college, right?
Okay.
Just did everything crazy. Came back, still on my whatever. Crashed my mom's car. My dad was like, you got to do something with your life. That was an option, and I chose it. It's that simple.
Dad gave you the option to go to the military? That was the option because you crashed the car?
Yeah, that was the option. It was the different branches in that option. I have one option.
Right.
That had a few different branches.
Right.
And that was the option.
What an option.
And in my mind, I was 19. So, and I was 19 raised by parents that taught me values. So it wasn't like, Chas, you have a choice. It was like, no, like, this is what my father said. I did crash her car. Kind of don't want to be here when she comes back. So this is my option, right? And I have to choose one of these options. And I said, get me out of here before she gets here. and that's really kind of what happened.
That's
I didn't.
a crazy story.
Yeah. I didn't leave by the time she came back. I left maybe a week after. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's how I got in the military. But I wouldn't change it.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Because, okay, let me ask you this: leaving the military, coming out, how do you land a role? Did you always want to be in like entertainment?
Yes. 1,000%.
Okay.
So that is definitely what I wanted to do. I was a writer growing up. I wrote a lot of poetry. I was a journalist. I wrote for the New Youth Connection. It's a New York City. It was a New York City statewide paper, and I wrote for that. And I used to like sneak in poetry jams when I was younger, including in the New York Weekend Cafe. Like I had my fake ID. Like I was an artsy. I was a writer. I knew that journalism was what I wanted to do. So yeah, I definitely knew that. And excuse me, when I took my first class for broadcast journalism, it was just the cameras. Like the cameras were too hot. It was just a lot going on, you know? And I was just like, nah, this is not what I want to do. I don't want to be in front of the camera. I have a lisp. My dad, he always says I speak chastity language sometimes, you know, because I have a lisp and my words kind of overlap. And I said, okay, so if I don't want to do this, what do I want to do? And I saw a public relations class that I needed to fill my schedule. So I was like, you know what? This looks interesting. I took it and I fell in love with it.
Okay, that's incredible. Now I'm going to ask this question in a sense how I see it. I don't necessarily fully understand what public relations is, right? Mm-hmm. So I hear it. I know it's important. Mm-hmm. I know you do things. Mm-hmm. I know you connect people. Mm-hmm. I feel like you're in charge of a significant role for whoever you are serving or you are contracted under. But I don't necessarily know what is it that you do.
Okay, so yes, it's connecting the dots between the client and the media. It's crisis management. It is overall communications between a client and their audience, getting the word out, brand partnerships, sponsorships, writing. There's a lot of writing involved in public relations, brand deals, and anything to do with getting someone's name out there. That's public relations.
Got you.
So it goes hand in hand with marketing, but it's not marketing because it's media based, right?
Okay.
Marketing is more like using the brand to get attention, not through the media though. You know what I'm saying? It's more like numbers and
right.
Public relations is strictly like media.
Understood.
And some event planning with, media. Like when someone has a press conference and all the media is there, that's the publicist. When I'll use Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. When he read that speech, what did he say? He said, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. That was probably his publicist,
Got you.
I write statements, things, all of those things. There's a list of things that a publicist can do. And being a publicist can look different with each client.
Got you. Okay.
So
that was incredibly, that was clear as day. Like, you doing that, I saw it clear as day.
You see it?
I see it.
Did you watch Scandal before?
Yes.
Like Olivia Pope, she's like top notch public relations.
Got you. Okay, so in this role, were there any mentors that you saw and said, that's not how I want to do this? You don't have to give any names. Like from experience, well, I don't necessarily like this route. And then emulated what you do off of somebody that did do something that you like. Like, did you have a mentor in the game that showed you the ropes?
So, a friend of mine told me, if you wanted to be disappointed, meet your heroes. And I had a number of mentors, a number of mentors. And I met all of them and realized that I'm not like none of them. Any of them. I'm Chasity. I had people that I looked up to for the accolades that they received, for the things that they made, like happen, for the successes that they had. And then I realized that really isn't the goal for me, right? The goal is to make sure my clients are good. The goal is to make sure my clients are successful. But really, like, the accolades part, like, you know, like all that stuff that I thought weren't that. So when I met, like, my mentors and stuff, I was, like, really disappointed because I wasn't aligned with any of them. That doesn't take away from the things that they've done, you know? And today, mentorship looks different to me than it did before. You know, mentorship now for me is more on the inner core. You know, it's more of, what did you do in here to get where you are out here? That's the biggest flex for me. So yes, I had mentorship and I had mentors and I had mentorship and I had people that I actually were fond of. And then I realized that, nah, I'm not like any of them. And I have to make my own way and make chastity sauce and make it work for me.
I love that.
And maybe one day I can mentor somebody the way I feel like mentorship should look like.
Fire.
Yeah.
If I should have dropped bombs on that. If I hit the there was so many bombs on that. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. So let me ask you this. Before, because you seen that in people, like, what are you doing for me here, right? And that disappointment. Do you feel like you got lucky landing the roles that you have? Or it was inner work that you've done that allow you to attract these goals or these successes?
I definitely didn't get lucky. Because I worked for everything that I have, right? It definitely wasn't luck. I knew what I was doing. I knew what I wanted to be, how I wanted to get there. I knew the steps that I had to take, and I took the steps. Everybody said there's a formula, you know. You get in a room, you see who's around that does what you want to do or who aligns with you, and you execute. You make your mark, you say your pitch, whatever, right? And go from there. So I did a lot of that in the beginning. And worked more and harder than a lot of people. I sacrificed a lot too. What I will say today, the past 2 years of my life, which is where I've excelled the most, happened because I did inside work. I did the inner work, you know. What I did before gave me my blueprint. You know what I mean? Gave me my my whole blueprint, gave me my they say when you have your weapons, is arsenal? What is it?
Yeah, your arsenal. Yeah, for sure.
It gave me my arsenal. And when I did the healing and when I said, you know what, I'm gonna take control of my life, I was able to use what I had in the arsenal. So all the hard work that I did caught up to me maturing spiritually. And now I'm like, I have all of these, all of the things, you know, all of the things to create the source, and I can create it now.
I love what you're saying. You know why? Because there's this world of manifestation, right? Which I believe. I feel like this is your healing words. It's in the Living Room Podcast where we learn, laugh, and heal.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like you saying that is the purpose, right? It's a podcast evolved around self-development and showing how successful people, inspirational people are normal people who done work that maybe some of us have not done, opposed to sit back and want the things to just come to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to know, I guess for me, when you say you did a bunch of work, hard work, okay? What did that look like?
Oh my gosh, let me put my foot down.
Like what?
I did so much. Okay. So, I went to the Navy. In the Navy, I wanted to be a journalist. That didn't happen. When I realized it was not happening for me and I couldn't transition it over to public relations, I got out my 4th year. Right before I got out, I told a few friends that I was getting out, friends that I knew that was in the industry, friends I went to college with. I got an internship at Bad Boy, paying nothing.
$0.
With a Metro card, right? And I said I want it immediately. Give me that. And I'm leaving my career to go intern
For free.
Right? And that was important to me because I was just like, no, this is like that one shot. Like Eminem said, you better lose yourself. You only get one chance to blow. Like, that's how I felt leaving the Navy and going to Bad Boy to work for free. And
Crazy.
yeah, I did. And I always say, especially to the kids now, working for free is not bad when you have so much value around you. Because that's not free. It's not monetary, but the knowledge you get, the knowledge. So that's what I was getting in my head. I was like, I'm going to be around these people. I'm going to get this knowledge and I'm going to figure it out. Did that for a year and realized that I needed more. I needed more training. I needed more education. I was like, you know what? I have to get my degree in this because I knew that I wasn't the strongest person as far as going to get it, standing out. Yes, I was working long hours. I was putting in the work. I was putting in the hours. I was doing what I needed to do, but I didn't have the confidence yet to be like, to shoot my shot.
Okay.
I didn't feel comfortable with myself to be there. So, I still look like a sore thumb. It was like, you're doing the work. You are here. You deserve to be here. You're putting it in. But I still felt like I didn't belong, So I knew that I needed something more. So I left to go finish my degree. And that's when I was in reserve duty. But it really wasn't nothing because I didn't do much in reserve duty at all. It was more like inactive and if they activate you. But that's how I left. I left respectfully. They gave me a little party. That's how I knew I did a good job.
Right. When you going away, I'm not paying her dollars. She's leaving. We got to throw her a party.
Right. They did me a little small party. I felt so, it wasn't that many people. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It was the thought that counted, And I went back to school. And I got my degree. In between that time, I was a part of the mass communication club at my school, and they do a New York trip. Even though I'm from New York, I'm like, it's different. We going in these buildings. We going to iHeart. We're going to Music Choice. We're going to ABC. We're going to Jimmy Fallon. We're going to Wendy Williams. And we are meeting people in these buildings. So I'm like, yep, I'm taking that trip. I'm going to stay in a hotel like everybody else because I'm not going back to the hood because I don't want nobody to know I'm there. Because I'm not there. I'm not home right now. In my mind, I'm on a mission.
Right.
I'm on a mission. So I did that and I met a woman and I started interning for her. She went to my school too and she needed an intern and she was in the industry. So I was like, oh, yep.
I'll take it.
Please, thank you.
Right.
So I started interning for her and I got some connections just because, she was pretty known and she put me in rooms too. So I I was able to get connections off of that. Then I graduated college with honors because I said, if I'm not going to be ready to get it, like if we in a room, my paper game going to be crazy.
Right.
I'm going to look good on paper.
I'm going to have some edge.
You're going to look at the paper. You're going to be like, I needed the wow effect for me.
Right.
I said, this is the angle that I have to go. I realize it and I'm going to do it. So I got out of college and now I moved to Jersey. Now I'm like, all right, I got to hit the ground running. I'm a little in my late 20s and, I still look good, but I'm just like, I gotta figure it out. In the midst of that, I was really getting into my spirituality. In the midst of that, yoga. I was meditating. I lost a bunch of weight. That was the first time I lost weight because we talked about this off camera. That was the first time I lost a bunch of weight. I lost like 30 pounds. And I was like, yes, I'm getting it, I became a hookah girl. So I was doing that at night and I started interning for a PR company. And that PR company housed people like Jim Jones, Chinks, Drewski, and I also helped another friend of mine who worked with Melky John, Jack Thriller, and a few other people. Right. So these are just the names of people I'm working with now. I'm like, okay, now I'm here. Like in my mind, I arrived, right? Sure. So this is your shot.
Right.
So now I'm connecting the dots. I'm meeting people. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm meeting people, but I'm like, damn, what do I have to offer? Because I need connections.
It's a great question. What do I have to offer?
What do I have to offer these people? Because I need these connections and I'm good and I'm a good intern. But what else? I need something else.
So what's your confidence at this point? Because your confidence when you first started before your degree, you were like, I don't feel like I belong. But now you put the groundwork, you got your degree, you're in the room, and the question is, how do I bring these people value? Before you answer that question, how was your confidence now? Like, is your confidence like, I know what I'm doing, I just got to figure out how I give them value? Or were your confidence still like...
My confidence was still shaky. My confidence was still shaky. Because now, and I equate it with the military. You're in boot camp at first, and then you go into the fleet. It's totally different. It's like you're training it to get to this fleet, and you're thinking it's gonna be a certain way, and you get there, and it's not that. It's actually like it's regular, but you still gonna have to prove yourself all over again in a different kind of way. So yeah, I got my degree, but now I'm in the fleet. And now I'm like, it's a popularity contest. Oh, well, you can't be too pretty because you can't give off thirsty.
Right.
But you can't be unnoticed because you have to stand out. So now this is another tier that I'm trying to figure out. I got the work down pat, but I can't look too eager. If I take pictures because I'm behind the scenes, I look thirsty, but I want to have these moments, right? I want to get these connections, but I don't want to give off thirsty when I don't have anything to add. Remember, I told you I was super spiritual, right? And I'm getting into my spiritual bag. I'm praying. I'm asking God. I'm like, God, please just help me get to the next level, So my friend Joy, she worked at Bad Boy when I was an intern. We're still good friends to this day. And she said, she was telling me about her podcast. She was like, yo, I have this podcast and I want to get more exposure. And I know you've been, doing this public relations thing, and I don't know exactly what a publicist does, but I think, you'll be great with the crew. So I was like, all right. Like, I didn't even ask. Before I laugh at myself, Rob, because I don't ask no questions. None.
I love
Literally.
it,
Back
though.
then?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah? Okay. You need me? Got you. So we met. The podcast was literally starting off the ground. It was called Bar Talk Radio. And it was her, another friend of ours, Star, and then a few other people. And it was a team of 5. And that was, I can say 1000%, that was the start of who I am now.
Fire.
As a publicist. That's when I gained my confidence. Because I was my own boss. I was the only publicist in the crew. They needed me, so I added value, right? And I was like, oh, they need me for real fire. Like, I added value. And I can make my own blueprint that works for me. Because even if I came up to someone and they weren't receptive, somebody else would be. We have a platform. I'm offering you a platform to speak about you. And we were bridging the gap between new school hip hop and classic hip hop. So we would have a new school guest and a classic guest on right after each other. We've interviewed tons of people. So yeah, I was like, oh, this is it, right? This is when the confidence came. And people started knowing my name a little bit. And I was just like, okay. Oh, that's the girl from that radio show. So I was really, really, really grateful. You know, we pulled a lot of long nights. We did a lot. Like, we put in a lot of work over at Bar Talk Radio. And I will forever be grateful for those team of people because we really were a family. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why I met Matt Hoffa. And because I was outside, but I had value. I had a whole show. I was the only spokesperson for this radio show, this unique radio show, and nobody was doing it at all what we were doing. So even meeting Matt, I didn't know who he was, but when I found out, I was able to pitch who I was, and yeah, and it was like history ever since.
Such an amazing story.
Yeah.
What is that? So for the viewers and for me, because I got a movie in my head.
Okay.
What's that time frame like from when you start interning to meeting Math? What's this window?
So, wow. What was crazy was I was interning and I was very grateful for the company that I was interning for, you know, and I was grateful for the opportunity, but I knew that I didn't belong there. So I knew that it was God. I knew that God was like, okay, you're interning here, you're working with this radio show, and you kind of can't do both. When I met Math, it was like, oh, you know what? Let me focus on what he's doing. Because even when I was interning, it kind of started, it was God again, because it kind of started getting a little fuzzy. I wasn't needed as much. So I made it was like a really easy transition. And it was like, God was like, here you go. Boom. You know, you have this and you have this. So that transition was everything for me. I literally went from being known as this podcast, you know, the publicist for this podcast, to being Matt's publicist. And that's even more value, right? And because I was so different, because I was so, you know, zen, and I would always smile, I'm a hugger, next to this person known for not that.
Right.
You know?
Right. Shout out to Matt Hoffa.
Shout out to Matt. I love him so much. I'm always grateful and thankful for Matt. So shout out to Matt. But that stood out. It was just like, yo, I want to kind of get to know more about this person, because, like, if he, you know, fucks with her, like,
for sure,
it must be something special, right? So, when we started working together, that's when I was like introduced to the battle rap scene, and things like that. I didn't know anything about that world. And it was really intriguing for me. And what's crazy is, and during that time, we didn't do a lot because he was restricted. So we did some things. We did, interviews and things like that, but we didn't do a lot. Like, we didn't make a big impact because he was restricted in so many things. He went on, he had his daughter, but we became really good friends. And in that time, I started bartending, but I was also still handling, doing PR stuff. I was helping other publicists. I was doing events. I bartended and I did events. That's what I did. So it all kind of came together. Math would visit me sometimes and I bartended. So that was a cool point for me.
I'm cool. Look at me.
I'm cool.
I'm cool.
I'm the cool bartender with that cool friend that comes to visit me.
Right.
And then I had other people because I handled public relations for the podcast. I had other celebrities come visit me, at the bar. And it was like, oh, this is good. Like, this is working for me. So I did that for a while. And that's how I met Tiana Wallace. And yeah, that was, again, God, because we connected differently. And opening came and I took it. And I've been her publicist ever since. And I was about 6 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So after that, that was it. It was like, I was in my mind, I'm out of here.
Right.
Because now, this is sensitive. This is Brooklyn.
Right.
This is big Brooklyn.
Right. Big Now that's literally big Brooklyn. Like,
big Brooklyn.
It can't be no other person.
No other.
Biggie's daughter.
And she believed in me. She believed in me, and she believed in me because of another client. Shout out to Tyra. I did a rollout for her and their friends, and she believed in that. And that was me on my lowest level. You know what I'm saying? And I was so, and again, I was so spiritually rooted, and I was so thankful, and I was so grateful. And I was just like, if anything, even if I can't deliver everything she wants, I'm going to make sure I learn. I'm going to make sure I pay attention. I'm going to make sure I add value in some way, shape, or form. And literally, she's been rocking with me the whole time.
This is crazy. Do you look at what you're doing? Because we had this. When you look, like, because here's what I want. I want to visualize, right? This spiritual journey. Do you feel like you remember the day that you was like, I have to change?
So the first time, it was when I was in college, and it was my spirit and my soul has always been pure.
Right.
I've always had good intentions. I've always been a flower child, with all the love and gratitude and all of that, all of those things. But I wasn't good to me. I didn't have good habits. I didn't have good eating habits. I didn't have, I smoked cigarettes. I drank alcohol. You know what I mean? I just did all the crazy things because that's what I knew the industry was. When you're having a conversation, you smoking a cigarette, or you smoking weed, or you having a drink. You staying up to late.
Right.
So, you gotta have something to keep up with the party. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have a drink, you gotta do something. So that was in my mind, that to keep up with everybody else. And when I was in college, that mindset kind of helped me because it was like, girl, you gotta stay with the party and do good with your books and get the work done.
Right.
But you gotta stay with the party,
right.
Until it didn't help me anymore.
Like you got to be able to hang.
You got to be able to hang, and you got to do your work.
And you got to be a student,
and you got to be right. You know what I mean? And imagine what that looks like.
Facts. And then because today is rough to do that. You was in college. Imagine doing that now. Party.
What? Crazy. So in college, I realized I couldn't do it because I was getting burnt out. I was getting burnt out. I was literally burnt out and struggling, with my schoolwork. And me back then struggling was a C, but because I had high expectations, but still that C was an F for me. And I was like, all right, I gotta change my mind, my body, my soul. Like I was doing Tybo, Sean P, whatever his name was. Word, I was doing it all. Right. I became a vegetarian.
Do that back for me. That's fine.
Word, all of that things, all of those things, and literally in a matter of 90 days, I lost a bunch of weight, and I went to church, on Sundays. Shout out to Discipleship Tabernacle, which was a church that I went to with like a lot of my sailor friends, my veteran friends. And we literally, it was like when I said I did the switch, the 360, it was like Bible toting, like that was me, but in a cool way,
Right.
But that was what filled me. And this is before I came back.
Okay.
Home, right? I went back real quick. This is before I came back home. So this replenished me. When I came back home, I changed again. I went back to the shit. I did. I'm not even gonna lie. I went back into it, but I needed that spiritual fuel and all of the knowledge to get to where I am now. You know what I mean? To even get to the steps that I made coming home and meeting the people I met. And it was easier for me to make the switch again because I already had that blueprint. Let's go back to the blueprint. What made me change this time was 2 years ago, after the pandemic, everybody was sitting at home. I was super unhealthy. I didn't have to do anything. I had clients, but we were all chilling. Like nobody was really doing much, right?
Everybody's home.
Everybody's home. Math was shooting MEO, but I wasn't going to the shop or anything like that. And I was shooting this reality show. I got called to do a reality show, and I was shooting it, and it was an obstacle course. And I said, I have to do the obstacle course. I don't have a choice. And I was running, and it was on a beach in the sand. I was running, and I had a fanny pack on. I had a pack of cigarettes, and I had a nip in there. That is serious. I had a Tito's. I had a Tito's nip and a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, we were doing bad. You was doing bad.
I was down bad.
You was down bad at the obstacle course.
I was at an obstacle course.
Hey.
And I was gonna be ready to light that cigarette after I was done. Yo.
To the pack. I was here with me.
And drink that
drink
Tito's.
It.
I'm running and I'm like gasping for air. But I'm not a quitter. That's one thing I'm not. So I finished it. I ran back, even gasping for air. They're like, everybody's like, she's bugging out. Like, she looked like she's about to pass out. So when I got to the end of the obstacle course, I didn't pass out, but I lay there for a second. And I had this really heavy breathing. And I carried that home. And that turned into a cough. It turned into a few other things, like just not feeling well. And I went to the doctor, and he said to me, like, I had pneumonia, like literally had pneumonia.
Crazy.
It was a slight case, but he said if you didn't come to me, if you would have waited, it would have been worse. And from that day, I said, God, please, can you please, help me? Can you please help me take this away from me? Because it's not conducive to the lifestyle that I want to live. Everybody says outside that I'm a light, but I'm not being a light to myself on the inside, you know? And maybe that's why, even though I'm known and people love me, maybe that's why my career is not soaring the way it's supposed to. And the next day, I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking. Also, during that time, I went to California because I also have a cannabis processing company with my brother.
Which we had a sip of that bad boy. Her? I had a sip of that. Me and my boy Nara. I just want to let y'all know. I'm going to let y'all know right now. We about to start the episode. Y'all about to sip some of this, right? She's like, no.
No.
Stop.
They put a whole cup.
Put a whole cup. Say, you better stop. Here, this is for both of y'all. Like, now we are right. No. Shout out to the bro.
Yes. So shout out to Buddy Love Delight. Shout out to Joe Drink. That is our cannabis processing company. And our flagship drink is the Dro Drink. And we're going to show it right here. That's
Bang.
the pineapple. That's the pineapple ginger flavor. We have 3 flavors. We have pineapple ginger.
I'm going to sip some of this bad boy.
Mixed berry.
It's actually fun. I'm sipping this bad
Mixed
boy.
berry and original lemonade. Please sip. Yes. But I can tell.
Read a cup.
Look, narrative is quiet.
He's over there chilling. Yeah.
I know, but nah, it's still a different kind of
Pull up in the
piece.
frame, bro. I'm going to sip some of this. I ain't going to lie to you because I don't want to.
It's still a different kind of piece.
I don't want to put my mouth on it if you want to sip later, so give me a cup. Pasa, ven.
And Rob is ready to take some more. Oh, no.
I'm a soccer player slash baseball player. Ay.
So I'll skip steps because I'm still going to get to the point. I skip steps,
you're
but
fine.
we went to California because we was doing some business for Dro Drink. Right. We were doing some business for Dro Drink. And a friend of mine, in the midst of having his cough,
I'm listening. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
In the midst of having
your
his
cough,
cough.
yes.
No. You feeling it, I'm telling you.
I'm chilling. I'm loving. By the way, if y'all, I know that we laughing and it's a good point of the story, but by this point, if you have not comment, liked, or subscribed, your mom don't love you, son.
Word.
I'm gonna be real with you, because if you,
agree.
If you're not getting, listen.
This is a feng shui. This is a
This
vibe.
is a whole vibe here. It's an
This is
incredible.
a vibe, and we're being real and
all of the
vulnerable.
above. We learning, we laughing, we're healing, baby.
And I love that.
Appreciate it.
So, in between the reality show, I was doing a lot of traveling in this condition.
Oh, why you had it on?
Word, because my brother and I were looking for. We wanted to get into the Airbnb business. He was already in the Airbnb business. I wanted to join.
Okay.
So we were supposed to be getting a property all together with our friends and business partners. So we traveled to Miami. We went to LA. I'm filming this reality show. And I got this cough, right? So I met a friend of mine from junior high school. And she moved to California like a few years before that. And then when I saw her life's completely different. She was like, she has this beautiful relationship. She's happy. She's glowing, all this stuff. And she was like, girl, this book, it will change your life, right? So I'm like, book changed my life. I love to read. I'm a reader, avid reader. I love knowledge. Knowledge is power. If it's positive knowledge in a book, nobody can take it away from you, right? It's yours forever. So she told me about it, and I'm looking at her life, and I'm like, she looks good to me. Good to me.
Right.
Because I'm coughing.
Right.
And I'm out of breath. And I'm overweight. And I am in a good space, but I'm not happy, you know? So now fast forward to the doctor and me making the decision to stop. I said, I'm opening this book too. But she said it would help me figure out the next steps in my life. So I opened it. I opened The Magic. And the book I'm talking about is called The Magic. Everybody The Magic. By Rhonda Barney. I think that's how you pronounce her name. So I opened this book day one, and it started day one. And that was my first day of not smoking. And that was 2 years ago. And I completed the 28 days in the book, and I just kept going. I didn't smoke. I stopped smoking and drinking at the same time. I started going to the gym. I lost 50 pounds.
50 pounds.
50.
Wow.
I lost 50 pounds in like 4 months. And at that time, I was really, because I'm also really into the veteran space. So I was working with an organization called the Black Veterans Project. And I was doing a lot of stuff with them. My skin was looking good. I was feeling good. I'm healing. Mav gives me a call. And he's like, yo, I need you to do something for me. And I was like, what's up? Mind you, I've already been up to MEO a few times. He promoted my drink and my sales going crazy, whatever. And he's like, yo, can you write this thing up for me? And I'm like, at this point, because we're friends now, right? And I really cherish my friendship with him so much. And I was just like, I don't know. He in a whole different space.
Right.
And I'm like, I got you with the write-up. Cool. But then he's like, can you do another one? He's like, can you do another one? And I'm like, bro, I can't just stop everything that I'm doing to work with you. So he was like, so how much is it going to be to work with me?
So what's up? So what is it?
So
what's the
up?
price?
And honestly, I
Fire.
really didn't realize how big the show was because that's my friend.
Man, you talking right now. That's real. Though.
Yeah, like that's my friend. I'm like, yo, my friend is winning right now. Like that's how I felt. So when he said that and we talked, we met, I said, yeah. Like I was like, you know what? I prayed about it. I've said I'm in a space where I could do this, like mentally, physically, I can figure it out. And yeah, and I've been rocking with my expert opinion ever since. And it changed my life, right? The show changed my life. But what really changed my life, really, really, has been my spiritual journey aligned with the show. Because it's not easy being a publicist anyway.
Right.
Because like I told you, you're taking care of so many people that you can get lost in yourself. This stuff is moving so fast all the time. It's nonstop, and you're in it. So you don't realize that, you may not realize the impact you're making because you're in it, but you're in it so much that sometimes you can get lost in yourself. You can get lost in the work and not in you. But it made me grasp harder into my spirituality. So
it's amazing. In like so many ways. Here's a question. How do you feel at this current moment? Like if you could reflect, if we were a page in your journal today, what does that sound like?
I'm grateful to wake up. I'm grateful to be alive. Very grateful to be alive because it looked different 2 years ago. I'm grateful for God. I'm grateful for the light. I'm grateful for the connections that I've made, the relationships. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for gratitude.
That's real. To be the ability to even be grateful itself, right?
Yo.
That alone.
I'm so grateful for gratitude. Gratitude is the simplest, but the most secretive thing that's really not a secret. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
real,
it's a secret.
Exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a secret because people don't realize if you have the gratitude of infinite gratitude, that's infinite blessings. And I don't think people really, really, really realize it. Because I find, I used to find myself complaining about little things, getting frustrated, comparing myself to people because I want to be at here. You know what I mean? And that's what I was telling you. You meet your mentors, you meet people, and you think no, it's not that, you know, and complaining and not seeing myself hit the marks that I wanted. And then gratitude came into my life. And I was like, yo, nah, I'm just grateful for the now. I'm grateful for this conversation. I'm grateful for this couch. I'm grateful for this fabric on my body. I'm grateful for this water. I'm grateful for the plastic that's holding the water. The person that made the bottle.
The thought behind the water.
Right. That's what I'm into now.
Right,
you know? Yes, I've gotten a lot of opportunities. I have gotten a lot of opportunities, but gratitude makes me keep them. Helps me keep them. Extending gratitude to other people, letting people know that they matter, how thankful I am for them, how thankful I am for myself, showing gratitude to myself, the Most High. You know, meditation is really important to me in this space because everything is so everywhere. It's a lot of politics in this, you know? So it grounds me. And again, like I said, the accolades, the opportunities, all that stuff is great. But nah, the gratitude, the prayer. You know, I wake up between 4 and 5 every morning. A late day is like 6 or 7. And I'll be like, dang, because I have to, I'm still going to do my rising routine, regardless how late it is. It's just going to push things back. But I make sure I set at least 4 hours for myself before the day starts.
4 hours?
4. So I wake up at 4.
So
This is my day. I wake up at 4. I thank God for waking me up in the rising. I thank God for helping me sleep through the night. I thank God that my feet is touching the floor. Then I meditate for at least 15 minutes. After I meditate, I send those meditations out to a group of people that I love. And these are just people that want it, you know?
For sure.
It was just a conversation that happened, and they know that I meditate, and they're like, oh, I would love to do that. That's how I send it out. It's not like a chain or anything like that. It's literally individual people. And after that, I have a routine. I wash my face. I do my notes of gratitude. And I list 10 things that I'm grateful for every day. But I do that. I have these cards of empowerment that just tells me that, girl, you're great. Keep going, sis. You know, I flip 3 of those over for the day, you know, to just reassure myself that I'm doing great. And now I'm reading The Magic, but I'm usually always reading a book.
All right.
I just read the 48 Laws of Power. My dad gifted it to me. So now I'm reading The Magic again. So I'm always like reading through a book. I go to the gym. I chill in the sauna for a good hour. I run back home, and then I start my day. Then my day is for everybody else. You got me. Whatever you need, I'm good.
Damn, I needed to hear you say that, because there's so much. I feel like there's so much going on right now. Not to the magnitude I feel that you do, but I am doing a couple things at once.
Yeah.
Till I find a place where I feel like, okay, this is like this. So this is all I can do, you know? Speaking about your dad, right? I love the fact that you mentioned he gifted you a book. How do your parents feel about you? Like, what do they tell you?
They're so proud of me. It's so funny. Like, my dad, I get DMs from people, and they're like, I just met your dad. He said that. I said, excuse me? He's like, he said that you're a publicist and you do this. And I'm like, and he'll call me. He's like, I just couldn't help it.
I had to let them know that my daughter's the one. That my daughter's lit. She went to the Navy. She was a little rough and she got started. But everything changed now.
Yes. So he's super proud of me. He is so happy, and he's just always like, you said that you were gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you said that this is what you're gonna do, and you're not, you're not gonna stop. As much as I may have said to you, like, what are your other options?
Mm-hmm.
My dad actually always just stuck by me. My mom is super proud of me. My mom has to see things, right? She got to see results.
Give me the receipts. What you talking about? Show me it.
And this is the moment, this for me, that I knew my mom was like, my daughter has some power. So my mom loves Earn Your Leisure.
Love those guys.
Loves Earn Your Leisure. And shout out to them. They're great guys.
For sure.
Great guys. And they were on our show.
Yes, they were.
And I brought my mom as an audience member.
Fire.
And she was just like,
right in front of me? They're here?
Right here. Like,
Fire.
And they were so gracious to my mom. They treated my mom. So, shout out to Rashad, Troy, and Ab. Like, treated my mom so great. It was the most beautiful thing for her. And after that moment, my mom was like, well, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do, I know you can do it,
The world's yours, baby.
Yeah, what do you need?
What do you need?
What do you need from me? So, and she always said she's proud of me too. She's just like, I'm just really proud of you because not only do you go for your goals and live out your dreams, you're a good person.
That part.
You're a good person. And I that means a lot to me. Before anything else, being a good person means a lot to me. So the little details matter. When you text me, say good day. If you text me just off some business stuff, I'm like, hi. How are you?
Right. How's your day?
How's your day? Mine's is good.
Mine's is beautiful. Now what do you need? I get it.
I'm that kind of person. So my parents are proud.
I want to say, as I said before, I'm proud we have this moment. I'm proud that whoever is listening or watching can feel. If you feel like a freaking fraction of what I feel, my biggest takeaway from everything that you said was the change really changed when you made yourself a priority.
Yeah.
4 hours for yourself before anyone else.
Yep.
Amazing. I want to say, look, I feel this is not the only time we're going to have a conversation.
No.
This was incredible. I want my followers and listeners to know where they can find you. I mean, it's going to be, all the information is going to be down there. But in closing, here's what I want to know.
Okay.
If you could have a conversation with a girl that went to the Navy.
Wow. Wow, you're going to bring me to tears. If I could have a conversation to that girl going to the Navy, to boot camp, I would say, you are right where you need to be. You're right where you need to be. Just keep going and don't lose yourself. I would say that. Because there was moments where I lost myself.
In that environment, of course, in the Navy, they push your mind. Can you give me something? I know we're in closing, but what was something you felt like you weren't going to get or you were losing yourself? And how did you regroup for that message to be?
Because in the Navy is where I really picked up alcohol. And it's not even, we don't have to go in a long story because literally now I'm not that person, but it's where I picked up alcohol to cope, right? And I lost myself. Like I was just, because remember, there was really no purpose there.
You were sent there.
I was sent there. And that is literally a 9 to 5. It's a good one. I traveled and stuff, but that's it. That's all I did was work, drink, chill, party. So I lost myself there. Again, though, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be who I am now. So I wouldn't change it. I just would tell her not to lose herself.
I'm going to tell you something.
Okay.
The biggest challenge I have podcasting is I don't know which episode's the best. Literally.
Really?
Everyone has such a great... What you did today, I often selfishly say it, like, gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Like, first and foremost, I'm glad that you even had this moment here, even getting you to go there, to see you go back to that person. That's big for me, right? Because in this moment, I'm just grateful that I'm having this conversation with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
same.
saying? Like, damn, this is a dope conversation. It's a conversation with depth and nuance. Like, it's a purposeful conversation.
It is.
And it comes from me first, because they're not going to see this yet. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just grateful that I'm able to have a platform where people can hear you, hear me. You know what I mean? Because a woman of your stature with your power, I want to say I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much, Rob, because one, I, looked at a couple episodes and you're amazing. This is definitely something that you should continue doing. The fact that you stopped, for whatever reason, that was God's plan. That was God's plan for you to have a reset, for you to be here now. Keep going. Don't ever stop. Because your voice needs to be heard. You are empathetic. You are compassionate. You're dope. You can tell that this is what you love to do. So one, keep going. And number two, thank you. Thank you for showing up for me. Because when I first got here, you got that parking space for me, and I said I was going to talk about it. And I do so much for so many people, and it felt good to see somebody do something for me. Even though, somebody would say that's small. No, it's not. He ran to go get a space for me. That's not small. Okay. He ran to go get that parking space for me. And I'm so appreciative of that, because it was just that moment of somebody got you. And I'm not saying that other people don't have me, but I have people way more often than they have me, because that's the nature of the job. I'm not complaining. This is what I signed up for. I know. But thank you for that, because you didn't even realize it.
I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's just another one. Like, honestly, let's be real here. Wow. That's another episode of In the Living Room podcast where we learn, laugh, and heal. I need a hug. That was, come here. That was amazing. Bring it in.
It was so good.
Bring it in. That was so good.